hard for his reputation, for his family. I thought what happened was really tough. It was tough stuff. I've been watching this stuff for a long time. I've never seen anything like going on with respect to Judge Kavanaugh. This is a high-quality person. This is a #1 student, a top intellect. He's never gone through anything like this. I think he did very well. I think he'll be totally impartial. I think he's a great judge. He's known as a great judge. If there's one disappointment, I don't think that you people covered an aspect that's very important, very, very important, and that's what he's done over the last 30 years. You know, you're going back to high school, you're going back to college. What has he done over the last 30 years? He has been spectacular. He has been a tremendous, tremendous success. Well, I heard Lindsay say that, and certainly it's interesting. People love him. I was in Tennessee last night, and I want to say that those people, we had a sold-out arena with thousands of people outside. Everywhere I go, I'm going to Pennsylvania, it's the same thing. They are so in favor of Judge Kavanaugh. You've never seen anything like it. I actually think it's like a rallying cry for the Republicans. They are so in favor of Judge Kavanaugh. So Melania is in Africa. I just saw on television her walking out of the plane. It was beautiful, and saying hello to the kids. She is really doing a great job as First Lady. No, I want to see what happens with the FBI. They're coming back with reports. They'll be back very soon. Are you talking about a second time? I mean, this was Lindsay's idea. Lindsay's a friend of mine, at least for the last 6 months, as you know. Lindsay's a friend of mine, and he's done really a great thing and a great service for our country, Lindsey Graham. But I have to say that I really think that Judge Kavanaugh is going to be accepted and voted on, and positively voted on, but we're going to have to see what the FBI says. They'll come back with a report. Well, it's a tough thing going on. If you can be an exemplary person for 35 years, and then somebody comes and they say, you did this or that, and they give 3 witnesses, and the 3 witnesses at this point do not corroborate what she was saying. It's a very scary situation where you're guilty until proven innocent. My whole life I've heard you're innocent until proven guilty. But now you're guilty until proven innocent. That is a very, very difficult standard. Say it. Well, I say that it's a very scary time for young men in America when you can be guilty of something that you may not be guilty of. This is a very, very difficult time. What's happening here has much more to do than even the appointment of a Supreme Court justice. It really does. You could be somebody that was perfect your entire life, and somebody could accuse you of something. Doesn't necessarily have to be a woman, as everybody says, but somebody could accuse you of something, and you're automatically guilty. But in this realm, you are truly guilty until proven innocent. That's one of the very, very bad things that's taking place right now. Say it? There's not a message now, but you might have a message by the end of the week. You may have a message. You're going to see. You're going to see. But he's an outstanding person. He's an outstanding man. And for his sake and for the sake of his family, I hope he does well. I think he's been very brutally treated. I've been speaking to people. We're going to talk later. I don't want to do anything to interrupt what's happening, this process. That's fine, but I don't want to do anything to interrupt the process. Well, I don't drink. I've never had a drink. I don't drink beer. I've never had a beer. And I'm not saying good or bad. Some people like it. I just chose not to do that for a lot of reasons. I think that I remember my college days, everybody was drinking. It was like normal. I was abnormal. It was totally normal. Everybody was drinking. And they used to drink a lot of beer. And there was nothing wrong. I just didn't choose to do that. But almost everybody else did. So I don't see anything wrong. No, I never tried anything else. Thank you.
The President of the United States doing what he often does, and that is to give access to reporters who are standing on the South Lawn as he boards Marine One. You heard him talking about Philadelphia. That's where he's going to talk tax reform and the economy. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he'll be there later today. But what the President talked mostly about was his support for Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court nominee that he chose. And he said, I don't want in any way to get involved, not involved, but to interrupt the process that's happening with Judge Kavanaugh. He called it the number 7 FBI investigation. We'll have more after a quick commercial break. Kayleigh McEnany of the RNC is alongside for this breaking news. There she is. Stay close. Breaking news just moments ago, the president on the South Lawn talking with reporters, and it was a little lengthy. I mean, he was taking every question. He started talking about the economy and the Tax Cuts Jobs Act that he'll be talking about, phase 2 of taxes, so on and so forth, when he's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania later today. Let's bring in Kayleigh McEnany, who's along here as the RNC spokesperson, and you were taking copious notes. He had a lot of messaging around Judge Brett Kavanaugh, and you and I were talking right as he started to talk. Did you learn anything new from the president in terms of how he looks at this?
Well, it's a delicate balance because he said, I don't want to interrupt this process because we know Democrats from the first moment the FBI investigation was announced were trying to say the White House is undermining it. That is a false claim. And we saw that with the president saying, I don't want to interrupt. But he was unmistakable in his support for Judge Kavanaugh. So trying to assuage Democrats, but at the same time, the character of this nominee is not in doubt.
You know, Kayleigh, we have heard him say as early as yesterday, as recently as yesterday, that he's not actually on the ballot for the midterm elections, but he is via these congressional members. He feels like he is really there. He's talked about being there on the campaign trail. Comments like today and in the rally last night, and I want to know, I know you just got a note about the rally as well. How does that further the cause for candidates in midterms?
Well, this president is our game changer, as I say. He's our closer. And it was really interesting to hear the president there call the Kavanaugh hearings a rallying cry for Republicans, were his words. And that was evident last night. I just got a text from one of my friends on the campaign who said it was the longest line they had ever seen for the rally, 20,000 people outside in Tennessee. And Kavanaugh is, I think, really energizing that alongside the president.
Will these words be difficult for the president? This is a quote from moments ago on the South Lawn. This is a scary and difficult time for young men in America.
I think it's truthful. Every mother that I've spoken to, every sister, every friend has said, I'm scared for the men in my life. Of course, every woman deserves to be heard. But you heard the president just say there, now the new standard in this country is guilty until proven innocent. So your son, your father, your loved one who is a male, that is the society we live in these days.
Do you think most people in America agree with that?
No, absolutely not. And we can see it in our polling. We look in West Virginia, where by a 30-point margin, they want Kavanaugh confirmed. Same numbers out of Indiana, very similar numbers. All across North Dakota, 30-point margin want Kavanaugh confirmed. That's a direct reaction to how Mr. Kavanaugh's been treated. 49% believe that this is a partisan game, and they are using this to go after Kavanaugh. The Democrats are. That was in the Quinnipiac poll.
Kayleigh McEnany, so great to have you, particularly on this day. I'll tell the audience why a little bit later. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
and along for the breaking news. Okay, we will continue Judge Kavanaugh coverage as one of his accusers' credibility now is being called into question following an NBC interview. We'll look at the potential legal consequences she could face. Stay close.